It's Mailbag Saturday, so y'all know we gonna jump into the mailbag. But before, as promised, me and CDubb gotta have a conversation. Is Demar Derozan actually the better fit than Zach LaVine for this team currently? Oh, it's about to get juicy. Y'all
Oh
already know.
man.
We gonna talk about it, break it down. But you gotta hear the music first. Cognac. Gang. Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm with my dog, CDubb. How you doing, boy?
Hey, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Unreal. But hey, y'all know Christmas Eve tomorrow. So what you want to do? Go ahead and gift the Cognac Boys a like, a subscribe, and a notification bell. So every time we drop, you be one of the first ones to know. Now, CDubb, on one of the daily episodes I came out, I was alluding to while during the conversation that, man, is DeMar DeRozan actually the better fit than Zach LaVine? And I said I wanted to save that for a conversation for me and you so we can go ahead and bounce ideas off each other and the people can hear your opinion on all this. We know what we seen DeMar DeRozan without Zach LaVine in 11 games now fit in with this team. Who do you think is actually the better fit for this young core? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or do you feel like it's a bit unfair since we haven't seen Zach LaVine by himself along with the young guys? How do you look at it?
Hey, first of all, shout out to you. That was a great episode. I did check that out, and I did hear you say that we had this episode coming up. I always been a proponent of Zach LaVine being the better out of the two players and the best player on the team for the last 2 to 3 years since we got that, this core with Vooch and Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine them. Zach LaVine, I think in a lot of categories, when you talk about physical skill, he's above DeMar DeRozan. When you talk about the jump shot from 3-point range, I thought Zach LaVine took the cake. When they're talking about attacking the basket, athleticism, Zach LaVine was the best out of the two. But when you sit back and look at it, I also have this. I thought that Zach LaVine would be better without a DeMar DeRozan on the team. So you can definitely call me a Zach LaVine apologist. I don't give a damn. Everybody make a mistake. But in this situation, there's one thing that separates the two of them, and that is IQ. I think DeMar DeRozan's IQ just trumps Zach's. Zach's IQ is it's not good. And with this particular team, when it's not two ball dominant players on the perimeter, and you got the one player on, if you had Zach LaVine in there and all the crazy turnovers and the crazy shots and the wasted dribbles that he do, picture that with Kobe White and DeMar DeRozan on the floor. I'm not saying DeMar DeRozan is perfect, but his IQ just trumps Zach LaVine. Therefore, I'm gonna have to go with DeMar DeRozan.
See, I was ready to come on and say I think it's a bit unfair for Zach LaVine, to be honest with you, simply because Zach LaVine has not been in this position with a emerging Kobe White, with the improving Patrick Williams, with the resurgence of Ayo Dosunmu. I was going to come out here and say it was a bit unfair. And I think that two things can be true. It is unfair to Zach LaVine with this type of conversation, simply because he's not in the lineup without DeMar with these young guys. But then you brought up the thing that trumps it all. IQ, bro.
IQ.
That is the trump, bro. Because DeMar DeRozan, if you're looking at him and how he's been playing, you love how he's playing with these young guys. He's letting the young guys cook. And when they absolutely need a bucket, he is showing up. Like, I got y'all, young buck. It's like when you training your young child, is whether that's your little boy or your little girl, and you like, okay, baby, we're going to go ahead and start you off on the training wheels. And then your child comes to you one day and, Dad, I want to take the training wheels off. You're like, all right, baby, I got you. And for most of the ride, you holding on to the back seat so they won't fall. And then you eventually let them go. And they start to ride.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan is starting to let him ride.
Yeah, he let him go, man.
He letting them ride.
Yeah.
And then when you see your toddler or your young child getting ready to tip over because they losing that balance on the first few times riding that two-wheeler, DeMar DeRozan like, oh, I got you. He was trailing. I got you. And that's just kind of what's kind of setting things apart for me. I understand that Zach LaVine, I know this conversation is probably not 100% fair, but as early on, you got to keep it a buck.
Hey,
the IQ stands out a lot.
Hey, nephew, life ain't fair. Fair. And nobody told his ass to go and request a trade. He jumped the gun. He absolutely jumped.
You believe that?
I think he jumped. I think listen, two things can be right. I think he jumped the gun, and I think he did a great thing by asking for a trade to change this team for the best. I think he's looking at this team like, I know a lot of people think he thinking about California, but he's human. He's thinking like, damn, what can this team be with me on this floor doing things like this, helping this team win? What could we be? How far can we go? But I do not think that's the case right now, because it's a possibility you come in here and you fuck this up, Zach. You come back and get back on this team without a trade and fuck this team up, bro. And then everybody gonna know who it is. They gonna blame you. It's gonna blame you. So if for your benefit, you should never put your body in a Chicago Bulls uniform again. You should never for his benefit. Do you agree with that? For his benefit?
Only if he buys into the point to where you like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just do what they need me to do for most of the game or for the entirety of the game, boost my value, and that's how I'm gonna get up out of here. But if you come in and say I want to drop 35 a night, it ain't gonna happen, bro.
No,
it's not gonna happen.
Nephew, even if he says that, like, I'm gonna buy in, if they start to lose, it might not even be his fault, nephew. Who they gonna blame?
Him.
Yes. So it's a lose-lose. Do not put the uniform on. I think DeMar fits the team brilliantly, to tell you that's crazy coming out of my mouth. Brilliantly. If you need your veteran, who can be a better veteran than DeMar DeRozan on this team? He already got the ears and minds of all the young players on this team. So he might as well be him. It's just all fits in. And I think you got to look at yourself, Zach LaVine, and look in the mirror and say thank you. Say thank you.
And I think that's one of the biggest things, too. We always said that we felt like Zach was the better player, but we always gave kudos to DeMar DeRozan for what he was able to do. But I think that you said something early on that I think makes a lot of sense. When it's two of them on the court at the same time that need buckets, it's not happening. It just don't look good. It doesn't work. No. And then because you still have to not even just say it's two of them, it's actually three of them. Vooch is included in that as well. Mm-hmm. So you got to show that. And I think that when you look at it, ladies and gentlemen,
boys to men,
it's fucked up, bro.
Boys to men.
It's fucked up.
Boys to men.
It's fucked up.
Boys to men with Zach LaVine. It's the end of the road, big dog. We appreciate it.
He ignorant. Before Crimmer.
Right before Crimmer.
Right before Christmas.
Hey, man, I'm Bulls, man. I love Zach LaVine. I defended that man, but hey, man, it's all about the Bulls. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, and I understand that. And I think that the biggest thing is like I still like the player. Let's make that clear, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
I still like Zach LaVine as the player. I just think right now, you don't want to do anything to kind of mess this up.
Nope. He can't for his sake. For the Bulls, absolutely, nephew. But for his sake, it's more, it trumps for what the Bulls can actually lose. We ain't finna win a championship. They could definitely put him back in the lineup. They paid him max money. But for Zach's sake, you better not put that uniform on, Zach. Don't do it, my guy. Don't do it.
That is crazy to say, especially how hard we went for this guy. But hey, that's why it's sports talk. Sometimes you got to go ahead and evaluate things, and sometimes your opinion will change. I still think he's a dynamic player. I still believe he can still be solid.
Yeah.
But just as of right now, with the results showing what they are, and that's something we cannot argue. We cannot argue with the results. The results is that since he's been gone, the Bulls are 8-3. The ball is moving better. Even when the shots are not falling early on in the game. The Bulls go for heater in the fourth from the three. Demar Derozan closes the game. And he always been closing the game. CDubb, if we think about it, he always closed the game. Now you got these young players with a closer who's allowing them to play. And then when it's time to close, he said, I got you, gang. Give me the keys. We finna go close up shop.
Yep.
And if we being honest, we in recent memory, that's the last 3 years. Can we point to any game that Billy Donovan has entrusted Zach LaVine to close a game? Maybe one. Maybe one.
I remember one.
And you probably about to say what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
It's the Atlanta game.
Oh, it's Atlanta.
When he was supposed to shoot the three, but he stepped in and take a two and still missed a shot.
It's crazy. IQ, nephew. It's so sad. It is what it is with Zach LaVine.
This is a tough discussion, y'all.
I enjoy watching them though.
It's a tough discussion for sure. Definitely a lot of things can be discussed out of this, but we want to show love to our people that called in this week and get them on the show. First up, we gonna show love to Stand Up Rivera.
Stand up.
He called in, CDubb. Here's the voicemail.
Stand up.
What up, fellas? This Stand Up. You guys are fire on the lives, you know. CDubb, Bobby, Big Kev, and let's not forget about Steve Vogt. The Chicago Bulls are changing the game like something we ain't seen before. Keep them young pups and Chicago Bulls podcast keep doing what y'all do. I want y'all at my show one day. All expenses paid. Y'all family to me. Let's rock, Chicago.
Hey, bro.
Shout out to Stand Up. CDubb, take it away.
Hey, shout out to my man Stand Up, man. He been supporting us so much these recent months, bro. What can I say, man? We definitely are come to the show, bro, and cheer you on. You support us. Why wouldn't we come support you, bro? We appreciate all the love, and we just gonna return it right back, man. And make sure you ready for what we got to come in store for you guys coming up. Stand Up. We got some heat and fire for you, big dog. We appreciate you. Certain for real, bro.
Facts. Hey, Stand Up. You been big certified, you know, certy. But hey, if you give us a date to where you want us to give us a show, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I will fly into Chicago. I don't live there. I will fly to Chicago, come kick it with you at your comedy show, and then go see my Chicago Bulls, depending on when you want us to slide. And it'll be a great weekend or a week or however you want to do it. But big shout outs to you. Definitely thank you for supporting the channel. And it's always love. Once we locked in with our people that support us, we don't call them fans or anything like that. We call them family. We call them supporters. And we put that support back. It's not just you, but the next guy coming up, hey, we finna get him on the show. Big O. Because he always calling in and just started this podcast. Look, if anybody knows Shy Bulls podcast, bro, ain't no hate over here.
None.
We get hated on because I follow the motto of Cat Williams. Feel free to hate on me. I don't give a damn. But if you a supporter, we gonna support you, bro. If you want to say, if you came to mind, say, hey, I'm finna start a lemonade stand. We're going to, all right, bro, we finna slide and send you some money for that lemonade stand. It's bust.
Bro, we going to buy a couple cups.
Hey, I'm going to put some hen dog in that cup, bro. Hey, we buying that lemonade. But, hey, shout out to you, Stand Up. Now, speaking of Big O, CDubb, we got a voicemail from Big O. Here's that voicemail, my guy.
The word, Cognac Boys, CDubb, and Bobby. Big O, man. Chicago Bulls block coming through. Hey, man. It's so refreshing, man. Them boys doing their thing, man. You know, I'll be the first to tell you I didn't see this coming. I didn't see it coming. But I'm happy for them. I'm glad they putting it together. It just seemed like, you know, it's a little messed up. It got to come to the expense of Zach LaVine. But, you know,
I called in because I noticed some, and I checked the numbers on this, right? So the last year, Billy Donovan was in Oklahoma City. We remember that team he had, right? He had Chris Paul. He had a young Shea, who was a promising player. He had Steven Adams. He had Luke Dort, Danilo Gallinari, and some other, pieces on that bench. Now, you go back and look at those players' numbers. Danilo Gallinari averaged double figures. Shea averaged around 18. Chris Paul averaged around 17. I think it was like two other players that averaged somewhere in double digits. If I'm not mistaken, even Adams might have averaged like 10 points or something like that. Very well balanced, well-rounded team. Team play with pace. Team play hard. Now, if you look at this team, since Zach LaVine has been out, if you look at the scoring, it's been pretty similar. You now, not on a nightly basis, you see at least 3 to 4 guys always in double figures. You see the ball moving. They playing more of, to me, like that Oklahoma City team. Now you look at Chris Paul, DeMar DeRozan playing that older vet role like Chris Paul did, right? They had a Steven Adams, granted, it's totally different players. I know I'm comparing them. I understand they're totally different players, but just, hang in there with me as I break this down. So Steven Adams, old, he's a little bit of an older guy, but, that's with the role Vooch playing. Now you got Kobe, who I would put in that Shea Gildress role, who was the young player who hasn't really peaked yet, but you knew he was coming. You knew he was a player that was on the, that was on his way. You know what I mean? Not to say you knew that he was going to be a top 5 MVP candidate. That's what he eventually turned into, but you knew he was a good player, and that's how I compare to Kobe. And you saw how that team break down. They eventually traded Chris Paul. They eventually traded Steven Adams, and then at the end of that, Billy Donovan ended up getting leaving as well. So a lot of resemblance when you look at how that team broke down and how they still made something out of it, and then you see this team breaking down and they still made something out of it. A lot of resemblance in
my God, Big O. That was a great breakdown and a great take. CDubb, take it away.
That absolutely is a great take and a great breakdown. This team does remind me of a Billy Donovan team in OKC. I do agree with you with, different talents. Vooch is definitely a little skill set wise different than Adams. And you got Shea. You can probably put Kobe in that position. And you got DeMar DeRozan for Chris Paul. That is an absolute great take. This what I say be the difference in that. And the difference will be Patrick Williams and Alex Caruso. I think this will be a little bit better than that. That no telling how far they can do if they continue this type of play throughout the season and they try to fight their way into the playoffs, but we don't want to talk about that yet. They still got some work to do. I don't care how good they've been playing for the month, because we just seen a lot of bullshit for the last year and a half. So they got a lot of making up to do. And you are right, great take. They got a lot of making up to do. So I don't want to move too fast, but great take though, Big O.
For real, man. And Big O, if you're up for it, I would like to have you on the show so we can discuss that further, bro.
Sure.
Shoot us an email, or you can send a text to the mailbag line and we can set something up. I would love to have you on so we can really, really break that down instead of having your 3 minutes or your take limited by the 3 minutes. But on to the point. First thing first, you said it was the Bulls have been refreshing. Absolutely. I'm not going to lie. At the start of the season, I'm like, CDubb, I don't want to watch this shit.
Yeah.
And now I can't wait to get on and watch this
shit. I can't wait
to
watch this damn game.
Why? Bro. Because Kobe White is cooking. Ayo Dosunmu is cooking. Alex Caruso, for some reason, it seemed like he gotten better. We knew he was good, but he's gotten better. It's crazy. But then you talked about the players getting in double figures. I'm going to break this down to you, Big O. Against LA, the Bulls had 8 players in double figures.
That's crazy.
In the last game against the Spurs, they had 6 players in double figures.
Yes.
That is crazy to me. That means the ball is not sticking Everyone is eating. They're staying connected. There's no ego. There's no guy in the room that's saying, hey, I need to get my 25 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I believe against the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe White only had 17 points, didn't bat a fucking eye. Nope. Then came out against the Spurs and dropped 22. And he was just the same demeanor, the same way. Last point, when you compare it to OKC, I think that's a great breakdown because if you're looking at it, hey, DeMar DeRozan is having that mentorship type of role with this team like a Chris Paul had with the OKC Thunder. And who knows if DeMar is maybe out of the way in maybe a year or two, or if he doesn't re-sign or anything, who knows what can be the next step for these young guys like we see what's taking place with the OKC Thunder.
That's a great point. And that's a conversation to be had in a little bit. Will DeMar DeRozan stay? Because he's going to fit. I think he finished out this contract this season. So that's going to be an interesting conversation when it come up. But great point, nephew. Great point.
Facts. Man. Big O, definitely send us that text message or hit the email, bro. We need to set something up so we can get you on so we can break that down. I really would like to do that. And we can go ahead and rock out. CDubb, you got anything left?
Yeah. If you wanted me to get this off or you want to wait.
Yeah, we can wait. Let's go ahead and wait.
All right, man.
Let's go ahead and wait. But it is what it is. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Make sure you subscribe here for your latest Bulls content. If you want to go ahead and send us a voicemail, be a part of an episode like this, call in and leave your take. 773-242-9219. And the Bulls are playing tonight. So we will see y'all later tonight.
Yes, sir.
Y'all already know, baby. See Red. We're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.